Nicole and welcome to the Baby to Sleep YouTube channel. So I just want to talk to you today about mum guilt. Something that we suffer with so badly. And with mum guilt, we carry around that feeling of being judged. And something like judgment and people being judgmental is something that I personally can't abide, because parenting is hard. Regardless whether you're mum, your dad, parenting is so frigging hard. It's utterly amazing. There's no getting away from that. It's incredible, but you're just not prepared for that, that feeling of where you always feel like you're just always getting it wrong. Nothing you do is quite right. You always feel like you're letting your child down. Doesn't matter how amazing you are, you will always have that feeling. And you're not on your own in this, by the way. We all do it. We all feel like we're just not good enough. But you know what? We really are. And the thing that makes this harder, though, is because we might feel this way. We might feel that we're just not doing a good enough job. There's just something that we could do that little bit better. If I'd have just done this, if I'd have just done that, maybe things would have been different. We all live in this little world, okay? And it's so frustrating because at the end of the day, we don't need to live there. And there's something that comes alongside this mum guilt feeling that is just, it makes it so much harder. And that's when we feel like we're being judged. And that judgment can come from anything. It can come from right from the beginning, whether you've decided pre-birth, whether you've decided you're having a natural birth or a cesarean, or whether you're going to do hypnobirthing, or whether you're going to have every single drug under the sun because you're just wanting to get through it. Well, do you know what? Straight from the beginning, these are your decisions. These are your choices. And I have absolutely no doubt that to have made these decisions, you will have made them with an informed decision. You will have read up on it and you will have made a choice based on the information that you have read, the information that you have learned, and the conversations that you will have had with professionals, with friends, with family. So these are your decisions. But for some bizarre reason, we live in this world where everybody feels that they need to judge everybody else's opinion on something. Oh, well, I wouldn't do it like that. Oh, no, I wouldn't do it like that. Oh, you should have done this, or you should have done that. And you know what? It sucks. It absolutely sucks, because it's not as if we're all on this same journey. We're not all trying to do something different. We're all having a baby and we're all raising a child. So we're all on that same path. So why can't we actually all just get together and hold each other's hand and say, do you know what? Whatever you decide to do, I've got you. You know, I'll support you. I'll help you. You help me, because do you know what? There's going to be times when I'm on my knees and I'm going to need someone to pick me up. And there's going to be times when you're on your knees and you're going to need someone to pick you up. But the last thing we need when we're being picked up is I told you so. These are the things that we've got to really get rid of within the whole parenting world, because why should we feel like that? Why should we feel like we can't tell our friends things? I'll tell you now, I've had people that I've worked with in the past who have actually not told their friends that they've actually hired me to help them with their baby's sleep, because they felt that they would be judged because, one, they couldn't do it themselves, and B, that they feel like even though we've done it gently, because we had to do something to help that family because they were suffering, you know, by actually intervening and not letting nature take its course, and actually having some kind of help and intervention, that they were going to be judged on that, rather than saying, do you know what? I struggled and it was really hard and I needed some help. So do you know what? I got some help. And do you know what? Have you seen how happy my child is? My child is sleeping. My child is happy. And guess what? I'm sleeping and I'm happy and we're a happier family. Why should we feel like we can't tell our friends what we've done to get there? You know, it's not just about that. It's everything. how we choose to feed our babies, whether we choose to formula feed, whether we choose to breastfeed, whether we choose to combi feed. These are our decisions. And, you know, okay, yes, I chose to breastfeed. That was my decision. But my family, some of them have chosen to formula feed. And it's entirely their decision, because again, a lot of this can come round to what their family support network is like, what their work environment is like. And do they need somebody to actually do this at certain times for them because they're not going to be available? All these different types of things. What they dress their child in. We're in a world now where, do you know what? Who cares if a boy wears pink? You know, it really doesn't matter. But for some reason, we still have this pink is for girls and blue is for boys. Ugh. But that wasn't a good face, I know. But but it really is that way. We shouldn't have to be in this world where we are judging your baby as a girl because it's wearing pink. Actually, no, I've got a boy. I just happen to like pink and I quite like that top. We shouldn't be in this world. We should be able to choose what we want to wear our children to wear, how we want to feed them, how we want to help them to sleep, as long as we're not doing anything dangerous. Now, this is the other thing. There's an element here where we've got to sort of step back. There is the thing where I'm saying we don't want to be judging people's experiences and their choices. However, informed, and this is the key, everything has to be informed. If you speak to a friend and you hear that they're going to do something and you know that that is something that might be dangerous, for example, they might be going to the shop to buy cot bumpers or something like that. That's not a judgment thing. That's you actually raising an issue to your friend to say, did you know that cot bumpers aren't safe, that they are a SIDS risk? So then what you're doing is you're not judging, you're just giving them information so they can then go away and make their own decision. And that's not a judgment thing. That's giving them information that they may not have had. And this is the same thing with anything. If you have a friend that chooses to formula feed, if you're a breastfeeding person, you might decide to offer facts if your friends would like them. And again, this is the thing. Would you like some more information on breastfeeding? Is there something I can help you with? You know, is it that is it if you might find out that actually they'd like to breastfeed, but they're nervous about how it might be in public, so they're choosing to go down the other route, because actually as a place, the UK, we are absolutely appalling with our breastfeeding rates, absolutely shocking. So it might just be that they've been given some bad information. So you can always ask a friend, would you like some more information on it? What is it that's putting you off? Because if you've made your decision because you looked into it, that's absolutely great, go for it. If it's actually something where you think, I wouldn't mind a bit more information on it because I want to make sure I'm making the right decision, then you might have a conversation. Or you might just direct them to a website, to a feeding specialist or something like that, where they can, again, do their own research. There's no harm in that as long as we're not going around and judging people's decisions. And this also comes down to the sleep side of things. Okay, yes, I'm not one for cry it out, control crying. That's not my thing. However, what I am fully aware of is that for some babies, who might be of a more chilled out nature, that might not be massively overtired, actually by kind of leaving their baby to cry alone, that might be what that child is actually needing. It's not something I personally would advise, but that might be something that a parent has noticed in their own child, because we are the best people to know our children. For example, I knew my little girl was left-handed when she was a few months old. We're all right-handed, so there was no reason for me to think she was a lefty. And I kept getting told by the health visitors, oh no, it'll be years before you find out. No, she was lefty. She was a left-handed one. So, it's that kind of knowing what's what, where you're going with things. With the sleep side of things, yes, okay, find out what's going on. That might be the right thing for them. That might be because their parent knows their child, and they might know that them being there is actually something that's going to irritate their baby, something rotten. And if their baby is not overtired and has been sleeping pretty well and they've got a good routine and all they're making is one change there at bedtime, that might be all they need. So we shouldn't judge them. However, if somebody has been forced into being told to do controlled crying or cry it out, that's again a different type of thing, because they might just not know that there are other avenues to explore. Again, everything is about informed decisions, making sure we make the right decisions for our children based on the knowledge that we have. And I'm going to say this now, if you've done something and you didn't have the knowledge and you regret it now, well, do you know what? It's the past. It can't be changed. Our backpacks carry enough mum guilt with them, okay? You can't change history. All you can do is learn from it and move forward. That is it. We can't change the past. So do you know what? We can't carry any more guilt around. Move it away. Get it out of the way and just kind of say, do you know what? I did the best that I could with the knowledge that I had. And that's the thing. So asking friends, if you're not sure about something, ask your friends, do your research, because that's how you can become informed. That is how you can make those decisions based on evidence-based, factual information, where you can make decisions. So you're not looking back going, I wish I'd have just known. I'd have done this if I'd have known that. And that's the big thing there. I hope that's making sense. So with regard to that side of things, we've got this camp over here which do that, and it might work great for them. Other people, it actually leaves them quite traumatized because it doesn't work, and it doesn't work for the baby, possibly because it wasn't right for them and they've been forced down that route. They've been directed down a route that they didn't really feel comfortable with, but they've done it anyway because out of desperation. And we've got this other side over here, which is very much of the, you shouldn't do anything. If you've done anything at all to make a change to your baby's sleep, you've done the wrong thing. You are damaging your baby, or this type of thing. And that's great for them, because if they're okay with what they're doing, if their baby's happy and they're happy, and this is the bit that's so important. If baby's happy and if the parents are happy, well, that's their choice. They've made a decision. They've gone with it. Well, that's their decision. They've done it and they're happy. So doesn't mean to say that what they have done is right for you, or it doesn't mean it's right for your friend. It doesn't matter. That's their decision and it's working for them. They shouldn't be judged because that's what they've done, because it's working for them. Equally, they shouldn't judge you if you decide to do something different because you're not coping, because every baby is different. And this is the thing, they need something different, whether it's the type of food that they eat, whether it's the type of help they need to go to sleep, whether it's how much they feed within a 24-hour period. Every baby's different. Some babies will sleep through the night from 6 weeks and not have a feed and they're all hunky-dory and all is good with the world. Why would you need to change anything? You would be quite happy sitting in this camp over here going, but I don't need to do anything. You know, you shouldn't have to do anything. But then you might have the other people whose baby's waking 6, 7, 8 times per night, and mum's on her knees or dad's on his knees, and everyone's got to try and work and they've got to try and do something, and baby's crying in the night and baby's not happy. Mum and dad aren't happy. They're arguing. There might be brothers and sisters in the house that are getting woken up. And that's when people might then get pushed over here, because they're thinking, well, what else can I do? And they might have a friend who's got a chilled out baby that did control crying and it worked beautifully for them. So they might be over there going, well, that's what you've got to do. Okay, that's what I'll do. And it might just not work. So, but equally, nobody should be judged because what's worked for them works for them. It's finding out what works for you and for your baby. I know this is one of my favourite sayings. I can't stress this enough, but it really is that kind of, do what's right for you. Do what's right for your baby. Do your research, because in the middle here, and the middle is massive, by the way, in the middle, there is so much you can do to help and support your baby to sleep well without having to go to one of the extremes. And you might need to do a lot, or you might not need to do that much, but making some tweaks could be enough to make a big difference. So informed decisions. Like I say, so if you want to go down a breastfeeding journey, get some more information, get support. And one thing I will say for COVID is it has brought to light how much support there is out there. So whereas previously all we might have thought about was the fact that actually we just had our health visitor. So we'd nip over to the health visitor and we would ask them the questions, which, by the way, they can be great, they might not be. I used to get told I was an anxious mum, which luckily I wasn't an anxious mum. I was just a mum that wanted to get things right. And personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I wanted to be the best mum I could be. So I wanted to have information so I could make informed decisions to help my child develop well. But because I used to ask questions, I was then labelled up as an anxious mum. So that might not be the place that you want to go down. So that, for me, that judgment of me being an anxious mum, that's stuck with me. And that's probably on a record somewhere that I'm an anxious person, which I'm really not. But it's probably somewhere, and I've been judged on this by somebody who doesn't really know me, who doesn't understand what I'm doing, and it's probably on a record. We shouldn't be like that. It's not a world that we want to be living in. You know, so what we have now is, because the internet has just basically blown up with the amount of people out there doing things to help people, whether it's prenatal, postnatal, birth, doulas, IBCLCs, so your feeding specialists, people that deal with allergies, your sleep people, you know, birth trauma, all these amazing things, your hypnobirthing, yoga, baby classes online. Everything has come together now, and we can actually see that there is a huge support network out there. We've just got to look for it. And sometimes it might be worth investing a little bit of money and speaking to one of these specialists to actually get us through a better journey. And in some instances, for example, if you're breastfeeding and you're struggling, you know, it might actually be better for you financially to fork out and speak to an IBCLC, you know, and get the help for breastfeeding than it would be to stop breastfeeding, move to formula and pay £10 a week for formula. So there's little things like that. So it can actually be cheaper to get help than it can not to be. It's with the sleep stuff as well. The amount of people I speak to who spent a fortune on sleep aids. Oh, I've got white noise machine, I've got a you and the sheep, I've got this, I've got that, I've got all the other things, and you know what, nothing's worked. Well, no, because actually that's not what's going to get your baby to sleep well. By helping them and giving them a good routine and supporting them to sleep when they're ready to sleep, not, as I've heard people say before, they'll sleep when they want to sleep. Yeah, right. Oh yeah, I'm just happily wandering around the living room, I'm playing on my own, I think I'll just have a nap. Never seen that happen. So, but what I have seen happen is noticing a sleep cue and taking a baby to their sleep space and allowing them to go to sleep at the time that they're ready to go to sleep. So again, it's that middle ground, not over here, they'll sleep where they want to sleep, I'll just leave them to do it, to actually, I'm noticing now and I'll help you and I'll put you in the right direction. So so it's things like that, it's helping and supporting. We do not want judgment. We need to get rid of it, because it's just, we just carry too much around, and you're going to have it for the rest of your life. Whether it's, I should have put them in this nursery, maybe I shouldn't have done this, maybe I should have gone part-time at work, maybe I should have put them in nursery earlier than I did because now I feel like they're missing out, or maybe I should have stayed off an extra year and not put them in nursery for another year. All these things, nothing we ever do will feel like we've made the right decisions, whether it's the right school, whether it's the right friends that they've made, whether, you know, whether we've taken them to the right classes. Have we taken them to enough classes? Are we giving them enough exposure to other people and experiences? We are just going to basically keep beating ourselves up our entire life. We will never ever feel like we are good enough for our children. I am telling you now, you are. Your children will absolutely love you and absolutely adore you for your entire life. You are their world, and you are doing absolutely everything you possibly can to give them their best life. Forget the mum guilt. There's enough stuff going on in our world at the moment. What's gone is gone. all we can do is move forward, do our research, make informed decisions, and go from there. I hope you found this interesting, because this was one that I've been really wanting to sort of put out there for a while. And I just thought it's just basically a few feelings for you on how I feel about the world and people being judged. As you can tell, I don't like it. But yeah, new videos come out every Friday, so feel free to subscribe over to the YouTube channel. And if you head over to Facebook, we've got the Baby to Sleep Facebook page where we do lives every week. We've got the Instagram page, and on Facebook as well, we have Baby to Sleep Village, which is a group that we are growing, which is basically going to be a supportive group for families as well, which have got babies or children that have or are struggling with sleep in general. So you can hop over there, and you can go over to the website as well and read all the different blogs and look at all the different online support if that's what you want to look at. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll see you on the next video. See you later. Bye.